In a campaign season full of firsts and never-befores, most of them concerning the wild Republican presidential race, we are getting some very unusual items in the endorsement department. Tonight, Fox News media analyst and host of Fox's Media Buzz, Howard Kurtz, has some examples.
In the kabuki theater known as political endorsements, the media mostly take it for granted that candidates who openly despise each other are willing to embrace for electoral expediency. Lindsey Graham had to bend over backwards in backing Ted Cruz after once indulging a violent fantasy about his colleague.
If you killed Ted Cruz on the floor of the Senate and the trial was in the Senate, nobody could convict you.
And Graham was equally deadly on the two GOP frontrunners.
If you're a Republican and your choices is Donald Trump and Ted Cruz in a general election, it's the difference between poisoned or shot. You're still dead.
Chris Christie spent part of his campaign trashing Trump.
I just don't think he's suited to be president of the United States.
Why?
I don't think his temperament is suited for that, and I don't think his experience is.
Only to wind up looking rather awkward at a Trump news conference and later sounding a tad defensive.
I wasn't being held hostage. I wasn't upset. I wasn't angry. I wasn't despondent.
Ben Carson is also backing Trump despite the billionaire using his life story to liken him to a child molester.
He said that he's pathological and that he's got basically pathological disease.
But the doctor hasn't exactly framed his endorsement with surgical precision, insisting there are two Donald Trumps.
Even if Donald Trump turns out not to be such a great president, which I don't think is the case, I think he's going to surround himself with really good people. But even if he didn't, we're only looking at 4 years.
And Rick Santorum seemed stumped when he backed Marco Rubio and was asked to name just one of his accomplishments.
If you look at being a minority in the United States Senate in a year where nothing got 4 years, where nothing got done, I guess it's hard to say they're accomplishments.
Politicians who want something are adept at abandoning their own words, such as when George H.W. Bush accused Ronald Reagan of peddling voodoo economics and then became his running mate. But they often have to hold their nose in the process. Brett?
Howie, thanks.